Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to play the mighty mouse. Yes, the mouse, the German tier 10 super heavy tank. Now, this is only really a super heavy tank when you know how to play it. If you don't know how to play it, this is basically almost 3,000 free hit points for the enemy team. You have to know how to play. It is all about angling. And if you can angle, this tank honestly is an absolute beast. Now, I've said it many times before, and I'll continue to say it. This tank isn't about damage, you know. You're always going to get people that can do 7, 8, 9,000 damage. But this tank isn't about damage. It isn't about dealing all that damage. It's about taking damage for your team. No one does that. No one does that unless it is like tournaments. You're not going to. You're not going to sit there and say to your team, guys, I'll take all the damage and you go get the damage. It doesn't work like that in random games. But that is what it is supposed to be. It has so many hit points. It has so much armor. When angled correctly, you have to play this tank front line. It's the only way to play it, really. So, turret is 250 millimeters on your standard. Of course, you can angle, you can get that much better, and the same as the hull. The hull is 200 millimeters. Again, you have to angle. There are weak points all around this tank, and if you don't know how to angle correctly, they are very easy to get to. Damage per minute, you've got 2,540. Now, we are running this with calibrated shells just to up that penetration a little bit more. 10.86 is your reload. Penetration is 263 on your AP, 327 on your APCR, 72 on your HG. You do have a 460 alpha gun, 390 with your APCR and 600 with your HG. Obviously, the aim time and the dispersion are not good at 4 seconds and 0.362. And you do have 8 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 25 kilometers per hour. So, of course, it's not a quick tank. It's not a quick tank at all. And as I've said, the tank is all about the armor. It's about getting frontline. You have to play it frontline. If you're not playing it frontline, you're playing it wrong. But you also need to learn how to angle. If you don't know how to angle, you're not going to do well in the tank. And I don't think you should play the tank, because if you over angle even by a little bit, then the armor just becomes absolutely useless. So you can see here, I am pushing far forward. I do want to be front line. But again, you don't want to get caught out either. You want to make sure that you do get into a position where you do have a little bit of cover. You have a bit of help. And you can see there, even from that kind of angle, the Minotaur there, no problem penetrating me at all. And you can see I've already lost half of my hit points because I've done nothing. You know, I've done absolutely nothing to even try to get some bounces. So I think it's time to actually try. I think it is time to actually get some damage and hopefully get some blocked damage as well. But we're going to get that shot on the Minotaur there. Nice roll. I mean, 476, that is not a bad roll at all. If you come out sideways like this, you're going to get damaged. You're going to get shot, and actually your tracks, even freaking, you come out sideways, Death Stars can shoot the side of you and they will absolutely tear you apart. Now, the main weak point of the tank is either side of this gun. Either side of the gun is very weak. So you do have to try to angle your turret, but also your hull. Your hull is very weak. The bottom of your hull, that little square there, very weak, and people can penetrate that. And even people, if they switch to premium rounds, they can penetrate your front plate no problem whatsoever. So there are a lot of weak points, but again, it's all about learning the game. You know, this tank will make you learn the game, because not only have you got to angle your turret to be successful, you've also got to angle your hull. So if you're going to face directly at a tank, but you're going to angle your hull, if you're going to face directly at a tank and you're going to angle your turret, they're going to be able to penetrate your hull very, very easy. And likewise, if you angle your hull but look directly at them, they will be able to penetrate your cheeks, again, very, very easily. So you need to try and angle both. You have to try to angle your turret, and you have to try to angle your hull. That's the only way you're going to succeed. I mean, here, we're going to try and show you. We're not always going to get bounces. I mean, people will be able to penetrate you. They're weak points. But you need to kind of not look at this kind of position, because he's just going to destroy me. But I want to get the shot off, and we're going to try to look straight away. But he can penetrate me no problem in my hull. You know, it's not a problem for him. So do bear that in mind if you are going to try to face hug these people. But if you are going to try and face hug again, you need, look at the angle of our turret. These are the kind of, look, and we get a bounce. These are the kind of angles that we're gonna try and put ourselves in, and that's what you've got to try and do. But again, you're not going to bounce everything. If a tank manages to get behind you or around you, then yeah, they're going to be able to penetrate you very, very easily. And yeah, I'll just get ripped apart here from that Concept 1B, and there isn't really anything I could sadly do about that. So, but we do go on and win. I still think we get a nice amount of block damage and a nice amount of damage. Sadly, wasn't enough for a mastery badge, but you know, I don't think that was too bad at all. So here we're on Middlesbrough. Now, the thing with a tank like this, you do get certain maps, especially a map like this. If there are a few medium tanks, they will say go left. When you're in a tank as slow as the mouse, you really just want to, like, no, I'm not going left. I'm just going to go forward, because by the time I go left and the time I get up there, everyone's going to be dead. Of course, if I was going on my own and everybody went left, I would go left. But considering pretty much all the heavies, all the tank destroyers are heading this way, you know, it's not too bad. And again, I'm not looking at stopping. I want to go as far forward as I possibly can. And I want to get into a position where I can at least attempt to block anything. And if you know what you're doing in a mouse, you've got to remember, I'm not saying, and I will never say, take the shots for your team, because you don't know how good your team is. They might be absolutely useless. But if you know how to angle your tank, and you know that you have the potential to get a load of bounces, it will still help your team. You're not trying to take the damage, but you're trying to take the shots, and you're actually trying to block the damage. Because all while these guys are looking and bouncing you, they're not actually looking and killing your teammates. So if you know how to bounce, and you're comfortable in learning how to, and you're comfortable in taking these shots, and you know they're not going to penetrate you, then of course it might be worth at least attempting to let them shoot you. So far, even now, like 1,300 damage. That's 1,300 damage blocked into me. And if that would have gone into one of my teammates, I mean, that guy, he would be almost dead. He'd be almost dead right now. But I'm glad they were looking at me because I managed to get the block damage. So sometimes you will end up, or a lot of the times you will end up with actually more block damage than you have actually damage. And when you do that, that actually means you play in the tank correctly, because yes, you are going to get a lot of damage. Like, there are going to be people, and I've shown replays with sort of 8,000 plus damage. You are going to get that, of course, but, you know, don't feel too disappointed if you don't manage to get the big amount of damage. But if you manage to get 2,000, 3,000 block damage, you know you've done your job. You know you've done your job, and you've done it really, really well. So far, I mean, even at this angle, I mean, we are trying to angle against this guy, but even someone this close, you're not going to bounce everything. Of course you're not. But even now, you know, 2,100 block damage, I think that is actually a decent job. Even if I was to die now, I still think that is a decent job. But with just one tank left alive, again, we haven't got the most amount of damage, and that's why I wanted to really show this replay. And I think this guy is going to get the shot. I mean, he's shooting me frontally, no problem whatsoever for him to be able to penetrate me. So we're only going to finish on around 3,000 damage and 2,100 blocked damage. But that is what you want to aim for in this tank. Not so much the damage, more the block damage. And make them look at you, make them bounce you, because all while they're doing that, they're not looking at your team, and they're not killing them as well. Let me know what you think of the Mighty Mouse. Absolutely, in my opinion, a fantastic tank. I love it. I really do love it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.
With